love the banner. That's
All right, guys, we are live. It is Tuesday, and we have, well, first of all, Kayla McDonald and Lindsay Weber. We're your key team. We have Pete and Dave Lucadano in the house with us from RedTree Landscape Systems.
Welcome.
Thank
We're
you.
excited to have you.
Thanks for having us today.
Glad to be here.
It's been a while. We were trying to get you on, but it was like the very busy time of your season. You're like, okay, so we'll wait.
We're right. We're right in the middle of that now.
Again, right?
Yeah.
You know,
for some rain, right, Dave?
it was worth the wait coming to this beautiful facility, though, that
Yeah.
you're in. You know, we're honored to be here today. Thanks for having us.
Of course. Yeah, I'm glad you guys are here.
They brought us gifts, by the way. Did you know?
Yep, let's show you what we got here for you. Go ahead. You want to show it?
No, go ahead.
I'll show you.
Straight from the RedTree Vineyards from Italy? No, actually, we wish.
I know
We're still working on that venture, right, Dave?
I'm like, ooh. I'm like, we get RedTree wine?
Yeah.
I'm excited.
We have it in white too, so let us know what you think.
Of course, red is our preference. I'm
Yeah.
sure you can imagine why.
Red is also my preference, and
Okay.
I think we are all we have red and
I'll drink
Boulevard.
anything. I'm not gonna lie. I think Chardonnay is my thing, but I'll drink a little Pinot for sure.
The wine is very popular for us around the holidays for our clients and our friends.
Yeah.
Goes over very well.
Oh, I'm sure.
yeah, I wasn't expecting gifts now.
I don't know. We didn't bring anything.
We'll just have to do this again. We'll exchange gifts again.
No, Christmas time. There we go.
Yeah, exactly. So today, we feel very lucky because I feel like anytime we're around you guys, and I haven't personally seen you guys in a long time, but you guys have been in business for 40 plus years.
Definitely. 42 years, right, Dave? So about our 42nd growing season.
Yeah, we started right here in Pasco County around 1985, but we actually started a little neighborhood lawn business in New Jersey that we kind of moved here when we were still in high school.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I don't think I knew that.
Yeah,
That's interesting.
yeah, we were we moved from New Jersey to Florida in around 1985, and Pete and I think Pete was a freshman and I was a junior at Gulf High.
Okay.
And we had a Toyota pickup truck, and I think our first lawn account was right down the street here in Fairway Springs for our grandparents.
And you originally started as Luke Brothers, if I'm not mistaken, right?
That is
That's right.
correct. Short for Lucadano.
Got it.
Little easier to remember and a little easier to spell with the K.
And now we've grown and morphed
Yep.
to RedTree, and you do quite a bit of commercial now, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, commercial, multifamily,
Yeah.
condominium, HOA, CDD.
Mhm.
That's really our focus.
Anytime I hear anybody thinking of then they need a new person to take care of their stuff, I always highly recommend you guys. You do it different than most.
We appreciate
you.
that. We try to bring a lot of class and integrity to it.
I'm still
know-
trying for loans for you.
We appreciate that. That's a beautiful contract. But, Dave and I always say when we don't get them the first time, we're not going anywhere. So
Right.
we stay, we become part of the community. And over time, we see opportunities develop.
Mhm.
But we try to keep our equipment looking good and treat our people very well.
Yeah.
We hope our clients see and potential clients see that if we take care of our own house, we'll take care of theirs very well too.
Yeah.
So
And
that
always over and above for anything and everything that you do. See, they even bring gifts.
Hey, we're learning stuff from you guys
Mhm.
today. Every time.
I was gonna say, so our topic today, we're gonna be learning ourselves is the green industry, and you're gonna give us some insight on that, and we're gonna start with what it is. Oh, Chris said the legends. Yes, they are.
Sounds great. We've Pete and I started doing this kind of as just kids with a chore, mowing the lawn, raking the leaves, that sort of thing.
Mhm.
And when we got to Florida, I think by the time Pete and I were graduating high school, I think we had about 400 residential lawn accounts. And Pete was going off to college. He wanted to pursue baseball. Pete's a very good baseball player.
Okay.
And he went off to college. And I realized, I really didn't want to go to college. I wanted to make a career out of landscaping. But the residential, doing all the residential lawns kind of wasn't appealing to me. I really wanted to build a career. So Pete and I together, because Pete worked with me over the summers when he would come home from college during the summers, we started looking at how do we become a bigger company? How do we do these
That
big
entrepreneur mindset.
big commercial jobs? Why can't we do it? As an 18 and a 19-year-old guy. And we realized that it wasn't just about mowing grass. When we learned about the green industry, it wasn't just about mowing grass. It was about fertilizing that grass, keeping it alive, watering that grass, trimming trees. So there was a lot to learn in terms of education, certifications, to be able to be on the platform of providing those services for large commercial properties.
Yeah.
So I think the green industry kind of encompasses all of those factors.
It is. And, I think back to that time that Dave mentioned that we were in high school. And, I have to thank Dave in many ways because Dave is the entrepreneurial mindset one of the two of us. Yeah. We're a good team because I'm more okay, how do we make his dream come true? How do we make that happen? And, I remember as a kid, I'm 2 years younger than Dave. And I remember thinking, Dave, there's no way we could ever mow a big condominium like that. We barely can get our 400 houses done. But he always had that mindset of think bigger, act bigger, work hard to get there. And the other thing I have to really thank him for is, like he said, I would work for him when I came back home from college, and I would always return to college the next year to the baseball team as the guy who was in the best shape. Because I was working, Dave had me working in the Florida heat, and all the other guys were like, "What have you been doing? Running all summer? Like this, you're making us look bad." But I was thankful for that. I said, "Hey, come home with me, and you'll get in shape." So, but there was no such thing at that time as the term green industry.
Right.
It was a very rudimentary business. There was a lot of trucks out there with wooden trailers, hand painted signs. No such thing as uniforms, right, Dave? Nobody was wearing matching shirts. There was no brands. The national companies, you didn't hear of them. They weren't even in the area. So much has changed over this time. And Florida has become nationally one of the hottest markets in the commercial landscape business. In most of the country, the green industry even involves snow removal, which is a very profitable line item. But of course, Florida, Texas, and some areas of Texas, that's not a part of it. So it's a tough business here where you have to, like Dave said, capitalize on all those other aspects of the business. So as we started to grow and realize that those were the areas of being a complete solution for our clients, we started working at getting our certification and licenses in areas such as irrigation, contractor's license, certified pest control operator, a certified arborist, so that we can truly bring expertise to the table for our clients and become a one-stop shop. And it's worked out well.
I feel like that's what people want too. So, if you think of it in comparatively to like a general contractor for a house, building a house or something, or renovating, like that's basically what you guys are. Especially these commercial buildings and apartment complexes, they want that. They don't want to have 800 different vendors that they have to call, like a tree guy, an irrigation person, somebody to cut the lawn, and to make sure the weeds are being sprayed and the pest control.
Right.
You're right, and it's one responsible party. We're the landscape managers of a client's landscape.
Yeah.
And we don't give them a directory of people to call. There's just one phone number or one email that our clients can contact, and then we handle the rest for them.
Yeah.
But when Pete and I were kind of building a commercial business, in our young 20s, there was not really a full service commercial landscaping company around per se. Most of our clients would use 5 different vendors They would use one irrigation company, a different fertilizer company, a different mowing company, a different tree company. So we really worked hard to build a full service model where we were good at everything that we offered. And like Pete said, it gave a solution for a client to have turnkey services for their property.
I mean, even like you're going to all these communities and putting down new grass, and sometimes you put down new grass and before you know it, it's dead or has like disease, or so you like take care of it from the beginning to make it look beautiful.
That's a big part of what we do, Lindsay. We have our own in-house designer, landscape designer, and we'll design it, we'll install it, we'll maintain it. Then there's another step, and it's something else that we offer that most of our competitors don't offer, and it's a lifetime warranty.
Oh, wow.
Of any plants that we install are installed for the lifetime of our maintenance agreement with the client.
Cool.
So we've kind of separated ourselves a little by offering that, and it's been very well received.
And whether anyone's interested in the commercial landscape industry or they're running their own business, we've been thankful to, when we talk about some of these things that have worked, please don't get the impression that we're some type of master at the industry. We have learned these things because we've made about every mistake you could possibly make in the 40 years that we've been in business on both the business side and the landscape side. But we always try to learn from them, do a post-mortem. How did we lose this client? What happened? And that has led us to some of these things that Dave talked about that have worked real well for us. So that warranty, whether you're in the business or not, what do people want, right? People want security. They want ease to do business with. They don't want to argue or have technicalities reach into an agreement that they thought they made. They want ease to do business with. They want to trust. They want to rely. And those are the things that we've really just tried to set up our business to be. And it's helped us to where we're thankful we don't have salesmen. We don't need salesmen. We're really appreciative of the fact that the phone rings all the time because of word of mouth. Yeah. And I think that any business, that would be, if we could give anybody any advice, you want to develop inertia of your reputation. You want that rolling down the street for you ahead of time. Mm-hmm. And the only way to do that is to do the work right, to back it up, and to not win the battle but lose the war with the client if there's an issue.
Yeah. That's kind of how it is with us too. I think the best in a lot of our business comes from word of mouth, and I think for any business that means more than a paid ad online.
Sure,
because it does.
You have a friend, you trust your friend, say, oh, I use this person and they were great. They're going to speak volumes for you. And I feel like you already win before you even walk in to meet the person because somebody else has spoken so highly of you.
You're so right.
No, you're right. Referrals are, definitely our biggest marketing strategy because obviously we earn relationships, and over time, those great relationships turn to other things. Those clients are proud to refer us to their friends. Consistency, and that equals repeat business. So that's kind of really been our marketing, if anything.
And over and above, like just little things. If your team sees something that needs to be done, it's usually they do it, or it's then a conversation. Hey, this needs to be taken care of, type of thing, and you just make it happen.
So glad you brought that up.
Yeah.
When Pete and I restructured RedTree a little and developed it, we decided we were not going to be a corporate America model with our operations. So what does that mean? We cut out a lot of fat and a lot of layers.
Yeah.
So we've made our management model very simple for us to be more productive and efficient at a field level for our clients. Yeah. So to your point, all of our employees, everyone on the crew level, supervisory level, managerial level, are empowered to make decisions for the clients. We don't tell a client, I have to call and find out and get an answer or approval for you. We ask and allow our employees to take care of our clients.
Yeah.
take care of problems on
Goes a long
the
way.
spot.
It does.
Yeah.
We've all been there, right? Whether you're in a restaurant, something goes wrong, and and you feel bad for the server because you can tell what type of restaurant it is when the server gets that nervous look on their face, and I have to go talk to the manager. I have to go talk, and they come back with a answer that somebody made who never even met you and didn't see your situation, or you bought something online and you're not dealing with anybody personally, and you get harsh answers. It's so nice that our clients can see who they're dealing with has that authority that they can make the problem go away
Right.
and resolve it. And boy, I'll tell you what, it's a lot easier for your employees to want to work for you when they're in a good situation. They're not getting
People feel
beat on.
confident.
That's
Yeah.
right.
They
They're
do
doing
build
the
a
right
lot of
thing.
confidence.
They know that they're trusted,
Hmm.
they're empowered, and I think the trust is probably the biggest thing that, wow, my
Yeah,
boss
I'm
trusts
not
me
restricted.
to figure it out and knows that I can take care of it, and the client's going to be happy, and then in turn they're going to be happy.
Right.
So,
It allows our employees too to develop some good personal relationships with our clients too.
Yeah.
To where the clients don't have to call and ask for an owner or a manager all the time. They're very satisfied with the field level personnel
Yeah.
that we've provided for them. So everything is relationships with us.
yeah, it definitely makes a huge difference. Christian LeBron said this is going to be a great episode.
He's a great friend and a trade partner of ours, Christian LeBron.
Yeah.
Really is.
Absolutely.
LeBron AC.
Wow.
He's gotten us out of a few jams where we've made a few little mistakes out in the field with a hedge trimmer
That's
or
right.
a little
Can happen.
nick in a
It
free
happens.
online, but he's been there every time for us.
Yeah. He just-
LeBron
A
AC.
couple weeks ago.
It was a couple weeks ago. I guess he was on.
One
Yeah.
of our managers came in, guy who's worked for Dave and I for over 20 years, good man. He came in, looked stressed out one morning. And that's something to look stressed out before all the challenges happen of the day. We said, "What's wrong?" He said, "My AC was out last night. My wife's upset." And he said, I called an AC guy and they said, maybe tomorrow they can come. We don't know what to do. And Dave said, I know who you need to call. Call LeBron. And I think the issue was handled in hours, right, Dave?
Yeah, I think within an hour or so, Christian LeBron, he came out himself and fixed the problem, extremely reasonable. And we have a happy manager and his wife is happy.
Happy wife, happy life, right?
Amen to that. That's truth. But it's funny because when you get to know people like Christian and you get to work in this environment, like both of you,
Mhm.
it's exciting because you never stop learning. We are always looking
Every
for
day.
reminders and better ways to do things. And it's that keeping it simple, keeping it hometown, keeping it personal.
Mhm.
In our industry, we're seeing national companies buy up competitors
Yeah.
aggressively.
Yeah.
And we have an advantage that they don't have. We can do what Christian did, right? We can learn from that and we can be that answer and that solution. Whereas a lot of those companies, they're closed Friday at 5:00, done, gone. They're not going to talk to you till the next week, and
Mhm.
you're never going to meet the owner. So I think all of us as local businesses really have an opportunity to capitalize on that.
Yeah, I agree.
Especially with how much building is happening and everyone is still racing to Florida, not just as a residential standpoint, but like you said, national businesses and other mom and pops are, sprouting up everywhere as growth happens. So what does that mean? These commercial businesses are going to need you to take care of their building community, whatever.
That's right.
No,
whatever it
you're
is.
right.
Infrastructure,
And
you're
we
right.
have more apartment complexes popping up everywhere, and I've been seeing you guys probably,
Condos.
yeah,
Apartments.
businesses, just-
Large super communities, CDDs, as
Mhm.
you live in one in Longleaf. We're in a huge one here in Bexley.
Yeah.
mhm,
There's lagoons coming everywhere
I know.
around here.
So it's just crazy.
There's a big landscape code, with all of this building. And part of that landscape code, when they develop these properties, it has to be, kept alive. Somebody, a competent company has to keep all of these plants, trees, grass alive. So our services are really in demand. And, that we've kind of established that niche. We're not We're not a landscaper to every type of property out there,
Yeah.
but I think multifamily, HOA, we're doing a little more industrial, a little more apartment now.
A lot of large churches.
Churches and actually hospitals now.
Okay.
That's right.
We just made an agreement with Trinity Hospital.
HCA,
HCA
Florida
Hospital.
Trinity, and all their sub facilities. They have about 5 facilities throughout the Tampa Bay area, as well as Trinity Hospital.
Yeah, that's
So-
exciting.
We were very happy to make that agreement with them. Great people over there. Matt Philippek is the director of operations, and he runs a very tight ship. And I told Matt, I said, you've saved several of my family members' lives. You don't even realize that, but we've, including Dave, when Dave was in that Trinity Hospital for over a month with COVID.
Mm-hmm.
So they thank God that he made it through that. So now we have a chance to kind of give back and thank them by making the grounds look the way they should. They need a little help over there. So we start there July 1.
Nice.
That's exciting. So with
Thank you.
all of these new accounts, are you guys still growing and taking on more crews, or is that something that is in the future?
Very, very controlled growth. As we acquire new accounts, we always try and have a little more resources and people than we really need, so that we can take advantage of opportunities as they're presented to us. So we're not quick to grow. We're making sure the client is the right fit for us, that the pricing, the profitability makes sense for us, but we're always on the lookout to expand a little. And we have some great pipelines for people, for employees, for resources. So I would say it's safe to say that, we're going to grow again this year. I think we're already growing.
Yes, I think that the interesting thing about our business is when you look in the past, us being in this Tampa Bay area for 40 years in this industry, most of the companies that we've seen go out of business it's not been because they didn't have enough work and they shut down. It's because they took on too much work.
Yeah.
They got in
Right.
debt. They got in over their head because it's an expensive business, right?
Yeah.
Trucks and equipment and personnel, labor and fuel and insurance. All those things can be very, we're not Apple. So we're not working with 200% margin on sale on each piece.
Right.
So we have to be very strategic about what we do. And we believe in the term right to grow. It actually came from a brilliant man named Burton Sperber. He started really the first national chain of commercial landscape companies, not a franchise, but just a national brand called Valley Crest, which he later sold. But he was a brilliant man, and he talked about, I think, a phrase, right to grow, that could be used in any business, that when you can get to the point where you can replicate the quality that you're already delivering, you then have the right to grow. So like Dave mentioned, we're always not just working on what's in front of us, but we want another layer ready to go. Until we have that other layer ready to go, we're not ready to go, right? But then you have no contingency or no overflow. So there's always scheduling that happens for work that will come, not that's there. A little bit of the field of dreams mentality, being baseball lovers of, if you build it, they will come. You have to have some of that happening in the business at all times, so you're ready. Especially this time of year, those challenges come. This is the time of year that inevitably every year we'll get big phone calls from big potential clients that will say everything from our service that we're getting that from our current contractor is really bad, or they just haven't shown up. We don't know when they're coming back and we need you. So yeah, it can be a little stressful, but
I mean, unfortunately, you hear that people just not showing up, and that's across the board in every industry, I think.
Or answering their phones,
or answering their phone, and
Communication, right?
Uh-huh.
That's a big one.
Responsiveness, just those little things. If you could really do those things well,
Yeah.
you have a happy client.
mm-hmm.
I just find it so interesting speaking to the two of you, and like every time we have a conversation, it's like bells and whistles go off, and just like that slow and steady mindset. And most don't have that. They want everything now and hurry, and then they lose all of that. And just your outlook on that slow and steady mindset of choosing the correct clients, of the ones that you're ready for, is just interesting to me. Like,
Thank
making sure
you.
you
Thank
have
you,
your
Lindsay.
solid base.
we
and
appreciate
keep
that.
going. It's just not the typical mindset. They want it all now.
You know, we're blessed. And I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Go ahead,
no.
Kayla.
I kind of lost my train of thought for a second. No, it's okay. But what I was going to say is, I think that, you guys want to keep that consistency.
Yes.
And if it's something that you don't feel like you can provide that same consistency you do to each client, then, like you said, you're not going to take on that job. Not now, at least, until you feel like you can provide that. That's kind of what my take.
Yeah.
So that's exactly what it is. We've been investing in the relationships that we have, because that's really where a lot of our growth comes from, the people that have trust in us, to where even if we tell them maybe we're not ready to go to Sarasota or Citrus County, they will be more like, well, let us know when you are.
Right.
Yeah.
And now we are. So now we are in Citrus County. Now we are in Sarasota. So we're covering a lot more ground now than we ever have.
Everybody is right from the headquarters here? Or
No.
Are you growing in that aspect as well?
We're growing in that aspect as well. Our corporate headquarters, of course, are in Holiday.
Mhm.
And then we have a satellite location in Citrus County
Okay.
and in Wesley Chapel.
All right.
And we're looking at some other ideas as well.
That's right. Decreasing windshield time in our business is always a good thing, right? It's
I was thinking like Sarasota, that's a hike.
That's a long way.
Yeah.
Every single day, or
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah, or once a week at least.
Yeah, or whatever that looks like for you.
Yeah.
That's cool. I didn't realize that.
There's a lot of
Congratulations.
resort opportunities there. So we've had a client that we've worked with for a little over 20 years.
Wow.
So they've kind of they're always kind of, when you guys are ready, let us know, kind of thing. So
Yeah.
it's really nice to have built those kind of relationships.
When you bring like new employees on, you have like a training plan already like in place of who takes care of that, or do you have an employee that takes care of that?
it's a little bit of everything. We first of all, we meet everybody that we hire. Applications are great, HR is great, but we want to look that person in the eye and meet that person if they make it through the first round of interviews at whatever level or position in the company that they're going to work for. You can tell a lot about a person, right? Meeting them in person and just observing their conduct and reading their body language and hearing what they have to say. So obviously we like to hire experience, but not always necessary depending on the position. So even when we hire experience, we bring them into what we call our baseball model. Again, here we are, baseball fans. And by the way, Dave gave me a shout out, but Dave is a very good baseball player. He's a lot faster than I am. Dave and I both play men's semi-pro baseball to this day. We play in a competitive league that actually is nationwide. We do tournaments around the country. So Dave's a good player. He's a fast outfielder. But be that as it may, major leagues, if anybody knows anything about baseball or even hockey and basketball, will use this system as well. If they sign a player, they don't just go right to the major league roster, and they'll go through the minor leagues. So we've structured our crews in such a fashion that we'll have minor league positions and major league positions. So generally, if a person comes in with high experience, high credentials, referred well, they'll still go through that minor league process of evaluating their skills, their ability to safely operate machinery, and not just operate machinery, but operate it our way. We have our systems and methods that work out well for us. But some people shoot up through the minor leagues a lot faster than others.
Sure.
So those minor leagues may be like a sixth position on a crew, on a veteran crew, where they'll start doing simpler tasks, or maybe the assistant to the irrigation technician.
And you find out their strengths as they're going.
That's
They
right.
get exposed pretty quickly, and it's also good to evaluate how do they work with others, how do they communicate, are they willing to take responsibility. So we kind of get a quick, assessment of them, and we get great feedback from those who are in charge of training those crews as well.
Right.
A
How
lot.
many employees do you have now?
We're close to 150 right
It's
now.
really growing. Yeah, that's
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I think that also how you do your major and your minor leagues. I think that's really cool. It goes back to what you said, that you took the corporate out of your business, because in a corporate world, people will come in and already go right to the top based on what
That's
the
a good
resume is. Whereas the guy that's been there for 10 years and has been working their butt off and doing everything is still stuck in his position and gets passed over. So I think that it's really important that you go through the steps that you do to learn that, hey, this guy looks really great on paper and says that he can do this, this, and this. Let's make sure that that's true. And he gets along with everybody and really, really knows what he's doing.
You're right. Kayla, it's really, unique. I think another unique thing about our company is most of our new hires per se
Mhm.
are referred from our existing employees. I would say about 85% of our new hires are recruited internally,
That's great.
and they come in endorsed, usually experienced, and with some good references.
It's a lifelong principle, right? Good people tend to know good people.
Yeah.
That's a
Yeah.
fact.
Right.
And when we talked about earlier empowering our people, we also allow our leadership, even our crew supervisors, to have a big say in who they have on their crew and how
Right.
much their crew is paid. If somebody's due a raise, if somebody's ready to hit that next level,
Working extra hard, or
That's
whatever
right.
that circumstances. That's awesome.
it means a lot for them to have control of their 6 to 7 people that are under them, when those people know that the leadership on that crew can give them a raise or can move them into a position where they're ready
Well,
for
now they're part of
promotion.
the team. They're not just somebody bouncing all over the place, and they have their own, place where they feel like they're home.
Absolutely.
Lindsay and Kayla, Pete and I get interviewed a lot by these associations, the board of directors. You normally send your proposal in, but then they want to meet you.
Right.
It's like an entire board of directors, and they usually invite the community. And
Wow, that's nice. Let's put you guys
so it's
on
like
the
an
spot.
interrogation, right?
It's fun. You really never know what you're
So-
going to get.
So you know what? One of the biggest questions we get asked, and they usually are expecting a completely different answer. We can tell the answer that either they want or that they're expecting.
I'm ready. Go ahead.
They usually ask us, they all ask us this, what is our turnover rate like? Because that's most of their problem that we hear. That the companies that they have working for them, it's new employees, a different crew every time, or they can't get enough help, or the crew is too small. We go up there with the same answer every time, and we're proud to tell them that our turnover rate is less than 5% and has been that way for the past 5 years or longer. I think longer than that.
Yes.
And they're like blown away by that.
But the employees want to stay.
Yeah.
Take care of them.
That is the key.
Help many people in the same industry as you. We'll call it aspiring professionals that want to get into the same type of field, maybe not necessarily the commercial part of it, but you have been known to take them under your wing, so to speak.
Absolutely.
So, like, what kind of advice do you give them, or people that are interested in, establishing a company in your field to start?
We like doing that. It happened to us. There wasn't too many trailblazers in the industry when Dave and I were young, but I remember Dave found an older gentleman named Bob Owens. Remember him, Dave?
Yeah, from Clearwater.
He built a big landscape company, and he would sit at the Hooters bar every day and drink for most of the day.
And run his business from there.
Run
I
his
believe.
business from the Hooters bar. So Dave told me, he's like, come on, we're going to go meet this guy. He's like, this is where we have to go to get advice from him. But
You're probably like,
This was before we had social media or internet or anything. So we had to go for our resources where we could find them.
that's it. Yeah, you couldn't research the industry. There wasn't much. But good old Bob gave us the advice that he had learned from life and his business, and it helped us out. And it never left us that we have a responsibility to others, right, to help them as well. So there are many cases where we'll sit down with somebody in the business and try and get into the nuts and bolts of their company to maybe help them with some decisions, buying decisions. But I was thinking about that on the way here because Dave and I had recently had this conversation with somebody, and I think a lot of it, you have to rewind and get back to motive, why you're doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
If it's all about money, that really is going to burn you out. You're not going to have the energy, the personal juice to get up every morning. As you both know, you're both builders and industry leaders. I've seen you both at Saturday afternoon events in 100-degree weather, shaking hands, being kind to people. And it's like, that motive isn't just money. Security for your family. Yeah, that's a good motive.
We like to
There's
help
no,
the people.
that's right. But making a change, making a difference, right?
Mhm.
Leaving a legacy. So I think probably the first piece of advice that I would give anybody, whether it's in our business or any business, is why are you doing what you're doing? You got to find that, and you got to grab onto that. And if it's not for a good reason, if it's for just to get rich, I think, there's people listening to this who could probably buy and sell us 18 times over, but they'll be the first ones to tell you money's just it's not the source of happiness, right? You can have things, and that doesn't necessarily make you happy. It's what you do with them, right?
Right.
Mhm.
So getting your motives in place and determining why you're in the business, because you have to enjoy the journey as much as you have to enjoy getting there.
Oh,
If
yeah.
you don't, you'll never get up in the morning every morning. And I'm sure you have to do it 6 to 7 days a week a lot of the time.
Sometimes.
So do we.
Mhm.
I would say, to add to what Pete said, depending on the age, maybe it's a younger person that wants to get into the landscaping business. Maybe it's a middle-aged person. If you have no experience in the landscaping industry, I would recommend at least trying to work in it a little bit before you open your own shop, and get
Know what it's like to
get
be out
exposed a
there.
little out there, with the lawnmower, the heat,
Yeah.
and the elements. So,
Wow,
and
good advice.
after that, I would say it doesn't have to be a bank loan business plan, but a simple business plan, right? To make sure that you will have the correct amount of resources and funding to develop a little operation to service clients. And then where are those clients going to come from, and how do you price? All of those things kind of need to be in order, I think,
Yeah.
before a launch.
Well, as you're talking, I'm like, I asked about that specific industry, but you seem to give good advice in business in general.
In general,
Mhm.
yeah, definitely.
I've come to you with some questions
Thank you.
along the way.
Girls
and
appreciate
you've
that.
always- Yeah. you've
We
always-
try. Pete and I are always learning, so we're always asking for help
But
too.
your
And
willingness to give the advice is just like no other. So,
Thank you.
for that.
If we could help somebody avoid one of the rocks we stumbled over, we would gladly do that.
Sometimes we don't see it coming, and you've already been there. So.
That's right. We've got the scars.
we admire your businesses too. I don't think either one of you have a boss. I know that. So that's the cool thing about being entrepreneurs, or do you?
Mine's about 10.
Aw.
Yeah, no, it kind of going back to what we were talking about a little earlier. I don't know that I could go back to like sitting in an office and having somebody, I don't know, dictating my day and doing like a 9 to 5. And I think I mentioned that in another show with somebody else a while ago, because I used to work in an office setting, a couple different ones, and it was always like, you have the schedule, you have a 10-minute break that you have to go run and either go to the bathroom or
Hurry up,
grab a
everybody
quick
late.
bite, and then you always have somebody like lingering over you, making sure you're doing your job. And if you mess up something, then you're petrified. I've had that feeling before, and it's not a good one.
We'd be fired every Tuesday.
Every Tuesday.
No, you're limited in that regard. You're limited. Your true potential as you
Yeah,
is never revealed to that employer.
right.
That's the beauty of it, right? And that's part of motive, right? You've been there. You don't want to do that again.
No.
So that's why enjoying the journey, being responsible. There's no one else to blame, right? When something goes
Right.
wrong, and
Yeah.
if you got to make payroll every week and all those things. So there's a lot of stress and work that goes into it. But you're right. You have to stop and enjoy. Like, hey, I don't have to sit in an office. I could get up and go out now and get a cup of coffee if I need to, and think or meet with this client, and be and live. And, not only has that helped us, right, as part of our business, but we've tried to make that part of even our back office culture.
I was just going to say, you give the power to your employees right off the
Yes.
bat, and they don't feel that way. They're not fired every Tuesday because they're
No.
5 minutes
We don't
late
have
because
time-
air conditioning went out.
We don't have time clocks, punch-ins, anything like that.
Yeah.
We don't
That's
believe in
not
that.
our atmosphere or culture.
We actually just have a lot of food behind the scenes. We always reasons for our
They will
office.
come.
Stocked kitchen and
Celebrate.
fridge.
That's right. We're Italian. We're Italian. Italians always find a reason to eat or drink or celebrate, but we try to keep our back office loose, right? The people that have to handle the accounting and handle all the client concerns and make work orders and follow them up. My wife, Karen, runs our service desk. She does a masterful job. And I feel bad for her because sometimes all she gets is the bad news. They need to re-edge my bed, or they need to blow off our back patio. But they have to, the folks in our office, they have to feel that relaxation that they can have sometimes by walking outside or going to run an errand and not have attendance kept on them, handle their personal business and handle work. And we're really thankful. We couldn't do it without our team.
Yeah. We'll make sure that it's done because
That's right.
we gave them the respect to be able to be a normal person and for somebody's
Yes.
It keeps them motivated and happy and excited to come to
It,
work.
it is. It's a family environment. We support each other. And as entrepreneurs, business owners, Pete and I, we have our hands on a lot of different things. The biggest thing we try to do every day, we set out to do, is support everyone who's in the organization. We don't, if there's a problem, someone's having a problem, it's our problem too.
Yeah.
And we work together. We have each other's back.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
we want everyone to go home positively at the end of the day. We don't want anyone to go home with their head down or carrying a burden. And Pete and I are constantly finding out what's going on inside the company. And, we don't have to pull the information out of people. They feel comfortable to come to us and communicate with us.
So what was like your biggest, biggest break, for lack of better terms, like when you guys were in it, when you first, sometime in the beginning, when you're first starting, you guys are doing all the labor. At what point were you guys like, okay, it's time for us to step back and actually run the company and let the employees and crews work?
Was it the book we read, the famous book we read?
Answer, the E-Myth by Gerber. Was it Richard Gerber?
Yep.
Actually, Dave read the book first. I was the college guy, so I thought I knew everything. And Dave told me, here, you need to read this book. And I was like, Dave, I read plenty of books, and then I read the book, and he was right. Dave's usually right. I don't let him know that, though. But it's an excellent book for anybody that I would recommend, the E-Myth. And the premise is why most small businesses fail.
Mm-hmm.
And he talks about how many people are great technicians. He uses the example of a baker, right? Love to bake pies, great baker. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're fit to open up a bakery and run the accounting of it and ordering and
marketing.
The key statement of the entire book is, if you're the owner, you need to spend time working on your business, not just in your business.
Right.
And Dave and I realized we spent almost all our time working in our business. We were two of our best technicians, but we were technicians.
I think I was crew 1, you were crew 2, right?
That's right. Dave was the mechanic. I was the truck washer, and we, you do what you have to do, right? It's invaluable, and you both know it, to have the ability to have done every task that you're asking your staff to do. There's no doubt that education, like Dave said, you got to get into the business to learn it. But as you move on, if you want to grow, you have to replicate yourself. You have to make those structured, ordered positions that people can come in and succeed in, because somebody has to be at the wheel of the ship, right? Driving the ship. If nobody's up at the stern, you're in trouble.
Yeah.
And
I'm pretty transparent. That's the struggle that I currently have, is that I've been in this industry for a very long time, but finding the support staff to be able to do the things that I do. So now I'm focusing on my process and procedure of like, okay, here's all the steps that you have to do. And then when there becomes a problem in there, then you can reach out to me and I'll be able to help you, because there's just too many tasks of the entire day from start to finish to be able to even grow or to hire employees or to train them or anything else that come to market. I mean, like the list is lengthy. And nobody taught me how to run a business. I did mortgage loan.
Ah.
I wasn't
Trial and
a-
error.
Okay.
You were
Okay.
good at it.
Well, you learn as you go, and unfortunately you fail along the way, but I try to fail forward and, to learn from those things and to change them to be better as we go. So.
And here's the dichotomy of it. Most people that would have the tendency to say, I want to start my own business, have the wherewithal to get the resources together, tend to be perfectionists to a certain degree. So it's really hard for a perfectionist to let go of certain tasks and let somebody else do them.
You're like, oh, that worked.
And that's what we actually then had to do. We said, all right, we got a little help, some advice, and they basically said to Pete and I, we need to train our replacements. We need to train supervisory level, managerial level people at the field level so that we can focus on the business level. And we did it. We did it.
Time consuming
And
and hard in itself.
We started building systems. We started replicating those systems, perfecting
There
them,
you go.
and things started falling into place a little bit.
And you have to teach yourself to relax, breathe, and you have to allow some failure.
Right.
One of the best books I ever read besides the E-Myth was from a guy named John Maxwell. He's a leadership expert, and it's Freedom to Fail. And he talks about how most business schools and colleges, the class that they're lacking is they don't have failure 101. This is how you fail.
This is what you do.
And he gives all these examples in the book. For example, R.H. Macy, right, founder of Macy's department stores, he failed 6 times in retail before the 7th time. Most people don't know, but Henry Ford bankrupted and failed in the auto industry before he started Ford Motor Company. He was a miserable failure in the business and about put his family out on the street. So failure is definitely a part of it. So how do we grow the business and teach our replacements? We have to have some tolerance for failure and allow our people to make some mistakes along the way, right?
Yeah.
It's the Norman Schwarzkopf quote, a good plan enacted now is better than a perfect plan enacted later. It's like, if you're going to move forward, you got to do it. You got to be a little willing to let go and let some of those things happen.
Yep.
I remember, not to belabor the point, but when Dave and I were younger, and I was meeting with a board, and one of the board members, this man's passed away since then, he was a pilot in World War II. He piloted one of the planes that transported one of the atomic weapons the atomic bomb that was dropped on Nagasaki. It was a pretty serious role that he had. And this gentleman, it was explaining to me that toward the end of World War II, that when the U.S. came on full force and we were marching toward Berlin, that the bombing missions that we would run would be sending 1,000 planes out at a time, knowing only 900 would return. And the flight, the crew, all those people that were lost, sad, but they knew it had to happen to win the war. Nobody would want to see that happen. But it taught me from a business standpoint that you have to sometimes send the planes out knowing, some of them may not come back. It's just, now we hope all our trucks come back in at the end of the day. So that's not to say that, but from a mentality that failure is not necessarily a bad thing.
Yeah. I feel like that's how you learn your best, because when you make a mistake, I know I've made them and I'm like, well, I'm never doing that again.
Most of the time it's fixable.
Yeah.
But
You learn from it and you're like, okay, well, now I know. And you can almost see it coming and stop it before it happens, because there's no real handbook for every industry. I know at mine there's not. When our real estate school and testing, they didn't tell you how to do anything. They didn't give you an example of a contract or
No.
what happens
Wow.
when
No,
this
we know you
happens
learn
or
all the
that.
laws. They don't teach you how to.
Yeah.
How about
On,
that?
on your real estate, just by the way, I think you market yourself really well. We see your ads constantly,
Good.
and they're very
Absolutely.
very tasteful,
Thank
and
you.
they look great. So
Thank you
I
very
think you've
much.
built a great brand
Thank
for
you.
yourself.
Yeah, it's crazy. Just you kind of, I look back at things I did a couple years ago, and I'm like, gosh, that was terrible. Why did I do that? You know?
I love looking at your waterfront listings.
You want to buy one? I got a couple.
Maybe we'll
I
talk.
see that.
Yeah. We could be neighbors. I'll have them right by me.
Mark said that Mark Price. He said he tried to hire some friends to help him clean his bounce house units, and he always had to go back and re-clean them to his standards. So he
Friends might be the key word there.
I was
Wow.
trying to figure out a way to say
Nicely
exactly
said.
that. Like, yep, sometimes friends, they're thinking they're there to help, but
They're not.
How many of us have hired friends to do something?
And,
Been there,
and lost some friends along the
That's
way.
right.
Yeah. And then there's the other thing, you have to not expect you out of other people. You know, I know that you
That's
guys
right.
train
So
people to
true.
be your replacements, but I feel like when you're a business owner, nobody's ever going to do everything to what you would, how you would do
it's
something.
not
They're-
their business.
Right.
They're not,
Right.
but on the flip side, strength and weaknesses, we have some really talented people that have come on board with us
Mhm.
that Pete and I don't have anywhere near their skills or abilities.
But you see that.
So they've brought other things to our company
Oh, yeah.
that have allowed us to grow in areas, that Pete and I wouldn't have been able to do
That's awesome.
on our own. So without our people, without everyone that we have, their skills and education, certifications, and a lot of them just true talents, natural talents,
Yeah.
has been the big part of our success.
Yeah, it's to use the business example of eagles, right? These are people that are eagles, but I always thought about it, like, how could you say that you have eagles if you don't let them fly, right? Eagles
Right.
aren't meant to be in a cage. So the responsibility is ours, like Dave said, to help solve problems for them, help obstacles get out of their way, help empower them, and give them the ability to reap the benefits of the business too, to share off of the profits and the margins on the jobs. That's a key. That's worked out very well for us in building a leadership team, is making sure that we share the good with them. It shouldn't all come to us,
Right.
because it's going to just be us. Those
Yeah.
folks who
Right.
are great at what they do will find better opportunities. So our job is to make this the best opportunity for them, so that they're happy, enjoy it, and then as the business grows and succeeds, so do they.
Yeah, I think that, and going back to what you said about, chasing money, I think money is a motivator for people too, especially as employees. Like, you do a great job and they help build your business. You're not just giving them a high five at the end of the day.
That's right. That's right.
That doesn't feed their family or, allow them to take a vacation with their family, but they're like, wow, you guys are rewarding me, not only just by believing in me, but, monetarily too.
It's really important to us. We want everyone at every level in the company to have opportunity
Mhm.
for growth, for expansion, for career advancement. We don't want to really see someone stay in one spot.
Yeah.
So we're constantly creating those opportunities for everyone, looking at new ways.
Well, I would like to be an employee.
Well, we have a potluck lunch coming up here in
That's
about
right.
a week, right? All the employees are going to be part of that.
See how it all works.
I'm down to come to your guys' little parties and get together.
You will eat good.
Food and
Yeah.
wine, I'm there.
I'll bring the dessert.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think that's all the questions that I had. Did you have any more questions? Anything that you guys would like to tell us about before we go?
We're big fans of your podcast.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
I think you do a great
Thank you
job,
so much.
and I think you two are great partners, a great team.
Thank
Very
you.
natural, authentic. podcast.
The chemistry is definitely there. It's very interesting. I mean, I was a little nervous when you asked us to be on here. I was like, I don't have your style. You guys are interesting, you know, and you have great. You make people really feel comfortable when they watch you and understand. So that was a mark to live up to. We hope we did a decent job. But it's an honor
you
to
did
be
great.
here.
You guys are. I knew it would be fun because I've known you guys outside of here, and I haven't heard you, I don't think, speak, but I've seen you up on a stage and talking to a bunch of other business owners, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I could never do that. That's terrifying to me. I don't know why, but it is. But yeah, we try to keep it light and fun, and I think we both have been on the other end of a show where, or a podcast, or just with people where they make you feel uncomfortable and.
Right. Well, hey, we've gotten to work with both of you professionally and, really on a volunteer level in the community.
Mhm.
So it's kind of neat to share,
Give
give back support to our community
was
together
fun.
with you. That's right. We did a big home run
So home run
derby
derby.
to help one of the local little leagues.
That was a
That was a lot of fun.
It's nice when they all work, when the events work out. We've had
Yeah, because sometimes they don't.
some technical difficulties sometimes.
A lot goes into them.
Oh,
Like your Jeep event, a lot goes into that at the Starkey Market.
It does.
Mhm.
And we try to pull the right people together, and everybody has their own little portion that they add to it, and
Mhm.
you surround yourself with the people that want to be there.
We're always looking for opportunities, to help our community, to make the community better. And there's, power in numbers for us all to work together to have the same goals.
It's always an honor
Well
to
said.
be with you guys.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
Man, we need to do this more often. We're just
Absolutely.
We'll bring food next time. We brought the
Yeah.
wine. So
We're going to have to top that
That's
next
right.
time.
Yeah, definitely. Well, we'll have to bring something next time too. So we'll get you guys back on, in a couple months, and then
Sounds
maybe
great.
everyone can just watch us eat.
Sounds great. Okay.
All right. Well, that's it for today. Thank you very much for both of you coming.
Thank you.
It's
for
been
having
our
us.
pleasure. Thank you.